They wake up before we do, not because they understand time, but because the light changes. Morning does not arrive as an idea here. It arrives as warmth on feathers, as dust shifting on the ground. There is no schedule posted on the wall, no countdown, no expectation of what the day should become. They step forward because the ground is there. They stop because something moves. That is all. We like to believe simplicity means ignorance, that awareness requires complexity. But watching them, it becomes harder to be sure. They do not rush. They do not delay. They repeat the same path, not because they are trapped, but because the path exists. The floor remembers their steps better than they do. Every day looks the same to us. To them, every moment is slightly different.
A new sound. A shadow that wasn't there yesterday. A grain of feed in an unexpected place. We think freedom means choosing between many futures. Here, freedom looks more like responding to what is present. There is no nostalgia in this room. No anticipation either. Only now.
At some point, the difference between choice and habit blurs. Comfort arrives without asking permission. Comfort has a way of lowering the ceiling slowly. So slowly that we adjust our posture instead of noticing. The birds do not imagine another life. That is neither tragic nor peaceful. It is simply true. We, on the other hand, imagine endlessly and suffer inside those imaginations. We replay past moments. We rehearse futures that never arrive. Meanwhile, the ground beneath us remains unchanged. Here, there is no concept of wasted time. Time does not accumulate. It passes through. A minute is not saved or spent. It simply happens. The birds age without noticing. Their bodies change, their movements slow. Nothing announces this as a problem. We call it decline. They experience it as difference. There is a quiet honesty in that. No resistance, no denial, just adaptation. We talk often about control. Control over time. Control over outcomes. Control over meaning. But here, control is absent, and life continues anyway. The birds do not need purpose. Their existence does not ask to be justified. They eat when hungry. They rest when tired. They react when startled. Nothing more is required. Watching this for long enough, our questions begin to feel louder than necessary. Why am I here? What should I become?
these questions echo against walls that never answer back. Perhaps the problem is not that there are no answers. Perhaps the problem is that we expect the world to speak our language. The birds do not interpret silence as emptiness. Silence is just space. Space to move. Space to exist. There is no audience here. Nothing is performed. Every action is complete the moment it happens. We are the ones watching. We bring meaning with us.
We project narratives onto feathers and dust. They remain unaffected. Sometimes one bird stands still, not thinking, not waiting, just still. Stillness, for us, is uncomfortable. We fill it with noise, with explanation, with purpose. But here, stillness is not empty. It is full of breathing, of presence. We spend our lives preparing to live, planning, optimizing, delaying rest until something is finished. Nothing is ever finished. The birds already know this. They do not wait for a better moment. This moment is sufficient. That does not make them enlightened. It makes them alive. And maybe that distinction matters more than we admit. We think awareness separates us from animals. But awareness without presence becomes a burden. Thought multiplies faster than experience. Here, experience is enough. No memory is polished. No future is designed. Just movement within limits. Life within walls. And yet, life nonetheless. We fear cages because we imagine doors. The birds do not search for doors. They test what exists and live accordingly. Perhaps freedom is not the absence of walls. Perhaps it is knowing where the walls are and no longer arguing with them. Or perhaps that is only something we tell ourselves when leaving feels too uncertain. The birds do not resolve this question. They do not need to. They continue. Pecking. Walking. Breathing. And time continues with them. Not as a line, but as a field. Nothing here is trying to teach us anything. And yet, we keep watching. Maybe not to learn. Maybe just to remember what existing looks like when no explanation is required. If you stay long enough, you begin to notice how little effort life requires here. Not easy, just uncomplicated. Hunger appears. Movement follows. Fatigue arrives. Rest answers it. No negotiation. No internal debate. We have replaced these signals with instructions. Eat later. Sleep after this is done. Ignore the body until the mind agrees. Here, the body decides first. Watching this, something in us softens.
not relief, recognition. We remember a version of ourselves that existed before explanations, before goals, before measuring our days by usefulness. The birds do not improve. They do not accumulate progress. Yesterday is not a step toward tomorrow. It is simply gone. We build ladders out of time, rungs labeled achievement, stability, success.
Comparison requires imagination. Imagination is where most of our suffering lives. We imagine better versions of ourselves, then punish the present for not matching them. Here, the present is never judged. It is only inhabited. A bird pauses near the wall. It does not stare beyond it. It turns back, not because it understands limitation, but because something else now exists behind it. Attention moves. Life follows attention. We think awareness means holding everything at once, but perhaps awareness is the ability to let go of what no longer asks for us. The birds forget constantly, and because of that, they are never haunted. No memory sharpens itself into regret. No future grows heavy with expectation. There is only the next motion, the next breath, the next small adjustment.
We fear a life without narrative. We ask, what does it all lead to? We climb, often unsure of what we're reaching for. Here, nothing is climbed. The ground is accepted as enough. That idea unsettles us. If nothing needs to be earned, then what have we been working toward all this time? The birds do not answer. They continue moving in small, practical ways. Pecking, stepping aside, adjusting to whatever crosses their path. There is no story arc here. No rise, no fall, just continuity. We often say we want simple lives, but what we usually mean is control without effort, simplicity without surrender. What exists here is different. This is surrender without drama. Not giving up, just not fighting what doesn't need to be fought. The birds do not romanticize their existence. They also do not resent it. Resentment requires comparison.
But here, nothing leads anywhere, and nothing seems missing. Perhaps meaning is not something discovered at the end. Perhaps it dissolves the moment we stop demanding it. The birds do not wait for understanding. They do not pause existence until clarity arrives. They live first. We reverse the order and call the delay wisdom. Time passes again. Not marked, not recorded, just passing. And the birds remain. Changed, but not concerned with that change. We remain too. Watching. Not to learn a lesson. Not to find an answer. Maybe just to sit near a version of life that does not ask us to be anything more than what we already are.